Hey there, and welcome to the first week of the 8th season of the LSBA. So just as a quick intro, if you look back on my channel, over the years I've posted a handful of LSBA videos here and there, which, just as a quick reminder, stands for the Lake Stevens Battle Association. Basically, it's a Pokemon draft league that my friends and I have been running for the last 8 years, and this is our 8th season. We run it every summer and all that good stuff. I think the very first LSBA video that I ever posted had a more detailed rundown of what exactly it is. So I'm going to skip that today, but basically this is the first year that the LSBA will be running after I've already, what am I trying to say? I've been streaming on Twitch now since last August, so this will be the first LSBA season where I actually have like a streaming and recording setup alongside the season. So this year I'm going to try my best to actually record every fight and hopefully upload an entire season of the league, because in the past I've recorded some battles and uploaded some battles, but since I didn't really have a solid setup going or anything like that, I've always kind of lost steam a couple weeks in the years that I have tried to record. So hopefully this season will be different. Hopefully we'll get all the way through. And yeah, so this is our week 1 battle. So I'm gonna start out really quickly just by going through my team really fast, and just to basically just go into my team building. So our first week opponent is the Florida Feraligatrs, who is coached by Rodney. So here's the team that we've brought. So our mons that we're bringing are Mega Medicham, we have Ribombee, we have Regieleki, we have Milotic, Nidoking, and Weavile. So I'll just quickly go through why I selected each of these Pokemon. And I guess just as a quick thing, I'll list off Rodney's team really fast as well. So he has Kyurem Black, Mega Blastoise, Tapu Koko, Serperior, Hawlucha, Volcanion, Politoed, Alolan Raichu, Manaphy, Terrakion, and Vaporeon. So he's got a lot of water types on his team. I think he has, he has 4 mono water types, and then Volcanion, which is a water fire type. He's got a little bit of an electric terrain core thing going with Tapu Koko and Raichu Lola. Hawlucha can take advantage of the terrain as well to consume an electric seed upon entry, proc its unburden boost. And then Terrakion, Serperior, and Kyurem Black are just kind of there doing their best. So with that in mind, the party members that I've selected for my draft roster are Mega Medicham. So this is pretty much what I built my draft around this year. Just to quickly list off my full team as well, I have Dragapult, Tapu Lele, Weavile, Mega Medicham, Galarian Zapdos, Ribombee, Nidoking, Incineroar, Azelf, Regieleki, and Milotic. So a lot of my team is built around just trying to take as much advantage out of the fearsome wall breaker that is Mega Medicham as we can. So this week I've brought it with a pretty standard set. I am deciding last minute here to go with Drain Punch over Thunder Punch. This is something that I was deliberating actually right before starting this team building recording. So the set that we're bringing is Fake Out, Drain Punch, High Jump Kick, and Psycho Cut. So its moves are mostly just Dual Stab. The reason why I'm opting to run Drain Punch over Thunder Punch is so High Jump Kick is so strong that it's only worth using coverage moves when something resists it, basically. Because I was considering Thunder Punch for all of Rodney's water types here. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of them are pretty bulky, and so they're 2-hit KOs regardless of whether I use High Jump Kick and Drain Punch or whether I use 2 Thunder Punches. So after thinking it over a lot, because even if Electric Terrain is up, which I don't have control over, that's all him, Thunder Punch is still usually a 2-hit KO. It does 70 to 80% or something like that on a lot of these mons, but it doesn't pick up the OHKO. So I figured with that in mind that it would be worthwhile to run Drain Punch for a little bit of recovery. Basically just that way in case a high jump kick misses or if Medicham takes an attack, I can heal some of that back. So that was the logic there. Fake Out I'll talk about a little bit more when we get to Weavile. That's mostly looking at Serperior and Hawlucha, who are two of his faster threats that our second Pokemon here won't be able to help with. So our second Mon is Rubombi, so we've got a Focus Sash set. It's just mostly max speed. It's speed crept to something, I can't remember what, perhaps Tracheon, perhaps something else. And basically this is just a Sticky Web lead type Rubombi. We've got Dual Stabs and Moonblast and Bug Buzz. We have Sticky Web as our entry hazard of choice for this match, and then U-turn for trying to maintain some offensive momentum. So Sticky Web was really important to my draft as a whole. It's my primary means of speed control, and basically what it allows me to do is run some of my slower wall breakers like Medicham and Nidoking without having to fear either faster Pokemon or Choice Scarfers as much. So the reason why, and I'll actually talk about Weavile next here, so the reason why we have Fake Out on Medicham as well as a Fake Out Ice Shard priority heavy set on Weavile here is that two of Rodney's scariest threats are Hawlucha, because it can pair with Tapu Koko to get unburdened very easily, as well as Serperior, who, instead of lowering speed on Sticky Webs, it has the ability Contrary. So if it comes into Sticky Web, it instead picks up a speed stage. So with that in mind, those two Pokemon, and Hawlucha is a flying type, so it doesn't get caught up in grounded Sticky Webs. So with that in mind, those two are immune to my speed control, and so they're both big threats. So we're hoping to chip away at them with both Fake Out from Mega Medicham, as well as Fake Out and Ice Shard from Weavile here. Thankfully, they're both weak to ice, so I'm hoping that Weavile can chunk away at them pretty good. And then for the rest of Weavile's moveset here, we're just running Knockoff Low Kick to basically be disruptive. Knockoff will take some nubs off for us, and Low Kick is mostly for Kyurem Black and Terrakion. For this 6th and final team slot, Weavile was actually the final member that I decided on for this team, just because it was either between Weavile, Dragapult, or Tapu Lele. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to go with Tapu Lele and try and have terrain battles, whether I wanted to go with Dragapult, who's just fast and hits hard, it pairs well with Sticky Web because it outspeeds almost everything outside of them, or if I wanted to go with Weavile, who isn't great against a lot of this team, admittedly. My opponent has so many water types that bring in ice type, which water resists is a little sketchy, but I ultimately decided on Weavile just because Ice Shard, Life Orb Ice Shard with Fake Out is way too important for consistently dealing with both Hawlucha and Serperior. But so I didn't want to bother bringing another Ice Stab just because so much of my opponent's team resists ice, so we went with Knockoff, which is just good offensive utility all around, and again, Low Kick takes care of a few specific threats there. So next up is Regieleki. This is basically our revenge killer, kind of. It's not scarfed or anything, but it's so fast that at jolly 208 speed EVs, it still outspeeds +1 Serperior. So that doesn't help us if my opponent is running Scarf Serperior in the first place. If it has a choice Scarf and then also comes into Webs, we'll have to rely on Weavile. But if it's running any other item, then Regieleki can still outspeed it, and that goes for basically everything else on my opponent's team, including things like Lowland Raichu, Surge Surfer, or Lowland Raichu. Even at double speed, if Raichu comes in on Webs, Regieleki still outspeeds it, which is nuts. So we have a pretty basic set here. It's a physically oriented Regieleki. We've got Wild Charge for our stab. We've got Explosion for an emergency button, or if we just again, this is mostly for if Serperior or Hawlucha or Raichu or something is threatening to run through our team, we have the ability to just explode them. I chose Bounce for the coverage move slot here. Excuse me. The other option for this one was Assurance, like the Smogon set recommends. However, the thing with Assurance is that it only was really good against a Alolan Raichu in this matchup. It's neutral against everything else, basically, which doesn't really help us, and it even has the potential to proc Terracion's justified attack boost. So we're going with Bounce. Obviously it's a 2-turn move, which is a little sketchy, and it has like only 85% accuracy or something, but it has a chance to paralyze as well. Basically though, I just feel like Bounce, I mean it hits a few things super effectively here. It hits Serperior, it hits Hawlucha, it's neutral on Terrakion. It's like basically neutral to almost everything. I'm not anticipating using Bounce, but it's there as an option. And then I'm going with Volt Switch over Rapid Spin for momentum building. I was just looking over my opponent's team. I think the only Hazard Setter that he has is Terrakion, if I'm not mistaken, with Stealth Rocks. So that would be annoying, but our team is not incredibly weak to entry hazards or Stealth Rocks. Weavile doesn't appreciate them, but we'll deal with it if we come to it. Hopefully it doesn't punish us too hard. So that's our Regieleki. Milotic here is our defensive backbone. It's just full HP, full defense. We've got Marvel Scale in case we pick up a status for even more defense. This thing is another option for Hawlucha specifically. It's so physically defensive. It can handle any of my opponent's physical attackers pretty well, but I had Hawlucha specifically in mind when building this set. Ice Beam is good for that, Flip Turn for momentum again, Toxic Recover, just for defensive-y stuff. Then last but certainly not least is Nidoking, who is our special wall breaker on this team. Just has these good old coverage moves here, Dual Stabs, which are super effective against a lot of things, Thunderbolt for the water types, and Focus Blast for basically Kyurem, I guess technically Terrakion too, but just a solid mon. All of its damage calcs work out very well against the opponent's team. And again, this is another mon that, just like Medicham, its speed isn't great, so the sticky webs will help us outspeed and bop a lot of things, I think. So that's the team preview. And it looks like our opponent is challenging us, so I'm going to cut out really quick, but then we will be back with our actual battle here. Yeah. Alrighty, so here we go with our actual battle. So it looks like our opponent has brought Tapu Koko, but no Alolan Raichu. We've got Terrakion, we've got Volcanion, Mega Blastoise, Kyurem Black, and Serperior. I'm surprised not to see Hawlucha, actually. That makes me a little more relieved. So what I think we're gonna do, and let me just make sure that the recording setup looks good. Let me adjust the camera this way a little bit. There we go. Alrighty. So what I think we're gonna do is actually lead Weavile. I'm gonna lead Weavile, anticipating a Terrakion like counter lead, I guess, because Fake Out Low Kick should be able to KO Terrakion if it tries to stay in and set up rocks here. Let me just verify this really quickly. Oh, you lead, yeah, Low Kick itself does enough, so we're gonna do that. So we're leading Weavile. Looks like some of our fellow league members are starting to filter in to watch the battle. Pretty Boy 96, aka Jack, who also typically records LSBA battles, says, "Let's go," and Badoofer is here for the violence. Father, I crave violence. Oh no, here to catch the bus. Yes. So yeah, really, I guess it doesn't matter what my opponent leads with. I'm anticipating this being a lead Terrakion, and indeed it appears to be so. And like I say, since I don't actually have hazard control, I would really like this not to set rocks up on me, so we're just gonna go ahead and go for the Fake Out here. If my opponent wants to switch out, that's fine. Because again, just like I say, since my opponent didn't actually bring Hawlucha, that means that Weavile is, I mean, still good in this matchup. Like, nothing wants to catch a knockoff, for example, and Ice Shard is still good against the Superior, potentially. But, again, like, we just couldn't lose Weavile, basically, if Hawlucha was going to show up. But since Hawlucha's not here, we have a little bit more flexibility on that. So... oh geez, people are criticizing me for no nicknames. Sorry, guys. I'll try better next week. Yeah, that's... even though I built most of this team a couple days ago, I forgot to give things nicknames. Okay, so we got our fake out off. That's good, that's good. I guess we'll find out now if this is a choice Scarf Terrakion or not. I'm gonna go for low kick. Oh geez, you know what? Okay, I see now on the damage calculator that we are EV'd to have one more speed point than Terrakion. Yeah, so we're faster, so we're just gonna pick up a nice KO on Terrakion here, so no stealth rocks for us. I think this is off screen. If it's not, I apologize. I'm gonna pull up a little kill tracker for the match results. Okay, so here's Tapu Koko. Honestly, I don't have a great switch in for this. Yeah, because my team doesn't have any defense. So, what are my options? I could either Ice Shard and just try and do some damage. Looks like Ice Shard will do about 35 to 43. Or if my opponent has Hidden Power Ice, how much does that do to a Nidoking? Nidoking's the only thing that I kind of could switch in. Hidden Power Ice does a lot, though. How important is Weavile, actually? Not that much, honestly. Not that much. Well, how important on the flip side is Nidoking, though? Kinda moderately. I'm just gonna go for the Ice Shard. I think that Weavile isn't super important in this matchup. Oh, my opponent has screens. Interesting. Okay. In that case, we'll go ahead and go for knockoff instead. So, it's got both screens up, which is unfortunate for us, but it is what it is. Since this doesn't seem to be an offensive Tapu Koko, I think I feel pretty safe going into Nidoking here. Indeed, my opponent's going to try and fail to Volt Switch here. So since it has dual screens, I'm guessing that it probably doesn't have HP Ice. I could be incorrect, but I feel pretty safe about that. So what move do we want to click? Ground is super effective, but my opponent has Superior in the back, which resists ground. Thunderbolt... actually pretty okay. I think I'm just gonna click Sludge Wave, though. It's stab, does neutral damage to everything. I wouldn't be surprised if my opponent went into Superior. So let's just click Sludge Wave. My opponent's gonna taunt me, interesting. Okay, so that gives us their last move here, is Taunt, which doesn't matter anymore. So let me mark down Nidoking KOs Tapu Koko. Alrighty. And we did see that my opponent had Light Clay, so they will have maximum amounts of turns here. So, having dual screens up is definitely unfortunate for us, but it's nice that we were able to preserve our Weavile, actually. Again, if this was a more offensive Tapu Koko, I wouldn't have felt as comfortable doing that. But since it was a dual screen setup Tapu Koko, like... yeah, I figured it probably wouldn't have room for HP Ice on its moveset. It could have been running HP Ice and Volt Switch, I suppose, but... also, just judging by how much damage the Ice Shard did, it looks like it was a little bit bulkier of a Tapu Koko as well, I think. So we'll have to see what my opponent goes into here. If it is any of Volcanion, Blastoise, or Kyurem, I think I gotta go out into Milotic to try and eat a hit. If my opponent sends out Superior, though, we're just gonna go for a Sludge Wave. We're just gonna try and bop it. Looks like they're not entirely sure what they want to go into, though, which is fine by me. Okay, they're gonna go into Superior. So I think that I don't have to think about it too hard. We're just gonna go for a Sludge Wave to bop. Ooh, that miss is unfortunate. Oof. Double oofs in the chat. Oof indeed. I'm gonna say oof as well. So Superior actually didn't take that as well as I kind of thought it would. Since that first Leaf Storm ended, we're gonna be able to take out the Superior as well. Theoretically, that should have KO'd us on the second turn, but you know, tough break for our opponent here. So okay, at this point, no matter what my opponent goes into, it's not going to be great for us. But at this point, I kind of feel like Nidoking's usefulness has run its course in some ways. So I think no matter what he sends out, I'm just going to click an attack. I think that we would be better served doing that rather than trying to preserve Nidoking for later. Because, like, the thing is, like, depending on if any of these are Scarfed or whatever, like, these all can hit Nidoking super effectively, so I don't think it really matters too much what we choose. We're going to go for Earth Power over Thunderbolt just because the train went down and this is Stab. I honestly don't know if Nidoking is faster than Volcanion or not. Oh yeah, it should be. Okay, cool. So we're gonna get an Earth Power up. The light screen is still up for 3 turns, so that's not great, but we can do a solid chunk of damage here. Man, that actually does more than I thought. Nidoking's kind of a monster, not gonna lie. Oh gosh, it's through light screen. What the heck? Nidoking, why are you so powerful? Man, I've used Nidoking in the past, but it's been a long time. Like I've known the Nidoking was really good for a long time, but it's like actually stronger than I kind of thought it was. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and break my opponent's substitute here. Steam Eruption's gonna take us out. But at this point, anything that we have really should be able to take out the Volcanion here. Let's see. Volcanion takes out Nidoking. Okay. So what I think... Well, what's the best way to do this? The Reflect went down. So, I'm just trying to think. 'Cause, like, Medicham can basically take out all of these. But I'm thinking... Probably just Regieleki. And then if the Kyurem comes out, I'll just Volt Switch into Milotic, I think. So yeah, we're just gonna Wild Charge. Wild Charge, easy peasy. If my opponent wants to Hard Switch into Kyurem here, that's fine too. I think even if the Kyurem is Choice Scarfed, I think we still outspeed it, honestly. Kyurem Black at +1 speed is not faster than Regieleki, because Regieleki is a monster. 200 base speed, what even is this thing? It's kind of crazy. So, it looks like my opponent's thinking here. He's definitely in a rough spot, since he has Well, I guess 1.5 water types left. I was gonna say 2 water types, but Volcanion here is very KO'd at this point. Since my opponent has 2 water types left, like Regieleki is a huge threat. Kyurem can deal pretty well, but Kyurem can't deal with like my entire team. And again, we have a physically defensive Milotic, so of the 3 Pokemon that my opponent has left, the only Pokemon that it can really match up well against is the Kyurem, so regardless of whether the Volcanion goes down this turn, if he leaves it into die, or if he just hard switches into Kyurem, either way, next turn I think I'm Volt switching into Milotic. Unless he sends up Blastoise next turn, in which case we'll just keep wild charging to victory, but you know. If I were to guess, I think one reason my opponent's probably taking a little bit of extra time on this turn is because he hasn't played very much post-Crown Tundra Pokemon, if any, I think, so he probably doesn't even know what Regieleki is. Or if he does know what it is, he's probably not very familiar with what it does, or like its stat line. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was looking that up really quickly. Which, like, totally understandable if so. But nonetheless, Wild Charge will be our move, regardless of what our opponent chooses to do. My opponent says in the chat, that thing has 500 speed, what the fuck? Yeah, it's one speedy boy. If I could go back and nickname, I would call this one Sanic Heart. Alrighty, so my opponent decided ultimately to just let the Volcanion go down here. I can only assume that Kyurem comes in now. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know why anybody in their right mind would send in the Blastoise here, so we're just gonna Volt Switch, like I said, into Milotic. It's a pretty easy choice for us, I think. Like, I mean, worst case scenario, my opponent predicts that and goes for the, whatever the electric attack Kyurem gets, I don't remember what it's called, Fusion Bolt, I think that's it. But, like, I mean, since our Rabombi is Focus Sashed, that should be able to 1v1 Kyurem pretty well. And we want to save our Regieleki for the Blastoise, I think. So, yeah. Yep. I already had plenty of time to think this turn out, but just going back over the plan while our opponent's trying to decide what to do about this little speed demon. Volt switch into Milotic, and then, like I say, Milotic can just basically sit in front of Kyurem and Toxicid. It can recover. Basically just chip it down to where one of our other attackers can come in and revenge kill the Kyurem. If it doesn't die itself, I'm honestly not sure. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, so like... So another thing to note is that in our draft league we're using National Dex OU rules mostly from Smogon, but we have them modified a little bit. So the reason that Kyurem is legal is that it's legal to use with Icicle Spear but not Dragon Dance, so I don't have to worry about my opponent setting up extra speed on me. If that was a concern, then that would be definitely a bigger deal. But as is, we can take this pretty well, especially since it only hit twice. That actually did a lot of damage, considering this is a max physically defensive doohickey. Kinda crazy. So this could actually mess Milotic up pretty bad. We're gonna Toxic it nonetheless, but you know. Yeah. If that hit 5 times, he'd be in a bad way. Yeah, okay, so no matter what, like, we don't care what gets toxic. I would honestly love to toxic the Blastoise as well. I guess the one thing that's a little sketchy with Blastoise is that it could be a rapid spin set, so it could get some extra speed that way. But okay, yeah, we do get to toxic the Blastoise, in fact. So that'll start. So what do we do from here? Honestly, I kind of wish that my Milotic was slower than Blastoise. I think we're gonna be faster, right? Let me check really quick. Mega Blastoise. 78 speed, but we have none in speed, so if our opponent has invested any in speed, we might actually get the slow flip turn off. Either way, that's what I want to do. Milotic doesn't really want to sit in and just 1v1 a water type if it doesn't have to. I mean, granted, it wouldn't be the worst thing. I think that Milotic probably does win in a 1v1 with Blastoise just because it can, like, slowly chip away with it, or chip away at it, rather, with Ice Beam and just wait the toxic turns out. But I'm not about that life. Okay, so we are slower. That's really good. We flinched, which is unfortunate. I guess just because of that, I'm gonna click recover this turn. If we don't flinch, I would like to heal back up some HP. Honestly, I don't even mind that our opponent continues to flinch us. Even if we flinched here, that would be fine, TVH. In fact, it looks like our opponent is just going to let their Blastoise rot to death, kind of. Oh, I forgot to mark down a KO. So what took out Volcanion? That was Regieleki. Oops. Regieleki took out Volcanion. Okay. Okay, so once again, Kyurem, I mean, okay, so since my opponent switched out, I do kind of wonder if this is the Choice Scarf Kyurem. Just because my opponent was commenting on Regieleki's speed. Nonetheless, we are just going to go for Toxic on it. But I wouldn't be surprised if my opponent just, like, bopped us with, whatchamacallit. Wouldn't be surprised if our opponent just bopped us with a really fast Fusion Bolt. Hopefully it doesn't do too much damage to us, but I guess we'll see. Either way, now that Blastoise is at 40% HP, that's really good for us. That means that Medicham can very comfortably come in and KO that. Regieleki as well will no longer have issues KOing that. Okay, in fact, everything on my team could KO it pretty easily from that point, honestly. Mega Blastoise is scary just because it's so bulky, but it's not bulky when it takes multiple turns of toxic damage, so there is that. So our opponent still seems unsure of what to do. Again, unfortunately, because I was, like I say, I was originally just going to flip turn out, but since I kept getting flinched with Dark Pulse, it made more sense to start recovering. Which is good for us, though. It worked out, because now we have a full HP Milotic, which is good. Oh, Dragon Claw. Ooh, that does a lot. That actually does a lot. Yeah, Kyurem's pretty powerful. Alrighty. Do I want to risk it going? No, there's no reason to risk anything. I'm just gonna click recover. It's gonna KO us. That's fine. It's honestly a-okay. So we have Kyurem B taking out Milotic. So now we can really easily at this point just go for Ribombee. We still have our Focus Sash intact. My opponent does not have Rocks down, so we can just very safely click Moonblast. This will be the turn where we discover if my opponent's Well, I guess we won't necessarily. Yeah. Uh, okay, so technically Milotic took out Blastoise with Toxic. And so now we're down to Kyurem versus the Bus, aka Rabombi. So here, okay, now we'll finally see if this thing's scarfed or not. If it moves first, then it's scarfed. Oh, you know, if it is scarfed, I just realized it can use Icicle Spear and hit through my Focus Sash. I'm pretty sure we're still fine. Okay, no, it's not scarfed. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure we're still fine because, we have two fake out users. I could have like juggled fake outs back and forth if I really had to. But yeah. Alright, good game, Rodney. That was a fun week 1 battle. It's good to see my team in action. It's good to see that I was able to perform even without the sticky web shenanigans, and perhaps it's better that we did, because we didn't end up triggering Superior's Contrary or anything. But yeah, so that is a 4-0 victory for our first match of the season, off to a good start. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with a battle against, Rossi, who's the coach of the Mangocarp, Solgaleos. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!